Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. So, yesterday we finished the dinim of Tefillas Haderach and the Tefillah when you enter the Beis HaMedrash. When it comes to Tefillas Haderach, we're still not clear. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda will speak to his people about why Lamaisa, according to the Mechaber and the Mishna Berura, if you travel one parsa, you need to say Tefillas Haderach. And it doesn't matter how long the trip is. You don't need a 70-minute, 2-minute trip. Even if you're going on a train and you're just going to travel for 3 minutes, you have to say Tefillas Haderach. That's what the Mishna Berura said. I don't think people, when they go on to take a train from Brooklyn to Manhattan, they say Tefillas Haderach. Okay, then this morning, after davening, I said, wow, maybe I should be Mekayim what we learned yesterday of saying the Tefillah before you learn, Yiratzain, Milfanecha, Hashem Elokeinu shel yikashol bar halacha. So what did I do? I said, look, I don't have a regular siddur, I have a really good, fully loaded siddur. And sure enough, right after davening, there's Hanhagas Halimud. And I'm learning all the Kabbalistic thoughts you should have when you learn. There's only one problem, there's one thing missing. The Tefillah wasn't there. The Tefillah wasn't even in the Siddur. And I looked in other Siddurim, and the Tefillah was not in any of the Siddurim. So I looked in front of my Gemara, and it wasn't there either. So I took out the Art Scroll Gemara, and I said, the Tefillah. So I'm just pointing out, this Tefillah, as obligatory as maybe the Mishna Berura says it is, you will not find it in your Siddur. Maybe some Siddurim have it, but it's not in the Masik Midrash, and it's not in the Art Scroll. It is in the Arts. It's in the Art Scroll Gemara. It's in the Oiz V'Hadar Gemara. But so, yeah. In any event, Siman Kuf Yud Aleph Din Smichas Geula L'Tefilla, juxtaposing Geula L'Tefilla. But I did say it. Tzarich Lismach Geula L'Tefilla. You should juxtapose Gal Yisrael to Tefillah. V'lo yafsik beineim. You should not interrupt between them. Afilu ba'amein achar Gal Yisrael. Even by saying amein after Gal Yisrael. V'lo b'shum pasuk. Not any pasuk. Chutz me Hashem sifasai tiftach. Ufi yagid tilasecha. Says the holy Mishnah Berura tzarich lismach aval b'musaf u'mincha mutar lemer psukim kaidem Hashem sifasai tiftach. Musaf and mincha you could say psukim. What do we say? We say kishem Hashem ekra havu goydel leiloi keinu. Now, so Musaf and mincha where we don't have to deal with Gal Yisrael, so then you could say psukim there. Now, why do we say psukim there? The Torah says the minhag gets to say Kishem Hashem Ekra. Why? I don't know. Now, what if somebody forgot Yalav Yavai, or during Shachris or Marav, something else that he has to go back? Then, and he already finished his tefillah, and he has to say Hashem Sifasai. Says Reb Chaim Kanievsky, he could say Kishem Hashem Ekra. You heard this? On round 2, you could say Kishem Hashem Ekra. I think this fits in well. But you're not being Sama Geula L'Tefilla. So one way to look at it is, well, you blew it. You blew it. So since you blew it, you might as well, you could say the national anthem also. So you could, not that there's any reason to sing that at that point. But maybe the other way to view it is, you already were Mekayim Samech Geula L'Tefilla. According to Rav Shlomo Zalman, when you have to daven again, it's not that you said Bracha Levatala, it was a Tefillah. It's just not a Tefillah that you're Yotzi in. Okay, so that is Reb Chaim. Okay, now the Mishnah Berura continues. You should not interrupt. The reason why you could say Avaloi Achar Kach, but not after Hashem Sifasai Tiftach. The pasuk says Meklal Tefilhu. Part of the Tefillah is Hashem Sifasai. Daha my high time and Uchalemer ben Geula Tefillah. That's the reason you're allowed to say Hashem Sifasai between Geula and Tefillah. The Kivan the Kavur Rabbanan the Tefillah. Since the rabbis established it in the Tefilla, yesh lo din Tefilla, it has a din of Tefilla. Imkain ein lahafsik beinoi la Tefilla Shemona Esrei, you should not interrupt between it and Shemona Esrei. So once you say Hashem Sefasai, you can no longer say Amen on Gal Yisrael that you hear from the Shatz, even according to the Ramah that you do answer Gal Yisrael. Beinehem va'afilu b'shia ba'alma yoyser mikdei dibur yesh Yisrael l'chadchila. Even delay a little bit more than kedei dibur, you have to be careful l'chadchila. Kedei dibur hu kedei she'elas talmud l'rav. Afilu ba'amen. V'adin de kaddish u'kedusha in lanos. Likewise, you don't answer kaddish u'kedusha. Kida el b'simen samech vav siftes. V'nakad amen mishim desham salak in yana shaberchas kriya shema. The reason why he picked amen is because there's a topic that's concluded with the berachos of kriya shema. B'havamina, and I would have thought the yachal lanos amen afilu achar atzmai, that you could answer amen even after himself. Meaning, I would have thought you could answer Amen after your own bracha, like many Sfardim do after Yishtabach or after Halal. Kilakaman Misvin Reish Tesvav Sif Aleph Kamash Malan Da Asr Misham Hefsek. The Chiddush is that it's also because of Hefsek. Vafil Achar Hashatz Layane. Don't even answer after the Shatz. V'loi B'shum Pasuk, and not any other Pasuk. Va'afilu ba'arvis kodim tefillah Shemona Esrei, even by Marav before Shemona Esrei, gamkein yesh lizaher bazeh. You should be careful with that. Okay, interesting. Over here, the Dirshu brings down that what about the 3 steps? Are they a hefsek between Geula and Tefilla? He brings from the Tehillah David, no, they're l'tzarech Tefilla. And then he brings from the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the 3 steps you take before you finish Goal Yisrael. And after you finish Goal Yisrael, then you take the 3 steps forward. You hear this? It's worthwhile to know in case you might be davening Shemona Esrei sometimes. It might be worthwhile to know how to do it. You take the 3 steps back before you say Goal Yisrael, and after you say Goal Yisrael, then you take the 3 steps forward. Okay, just thought you might want to know that. Fine.
It's not people should be about Alma. You can't wait over there. Let's say, right? If you're Middle Shemona Esrei and you hear Kedusha, you're supposed to be quiet and listen, right?
Yeah.
So, but at that point, you're not allowed to do that. Right? Right after Goal Yisrael. But at what point is it considered, okay, I got my Geula, now I'm in the middle of Shemona Esrei, now I should stop? Is it, once I say Hashem Sefasai Tiftach, okay, now I can stop? They're saying Kedusha now.
L'chaira, once you said the word Adoi Shem, you already Samech Geula Tefillah.
Goal Yisrael Hashem.
Now, I would give this guy needs to take a course in logistics, if that's what the guy did, you know? But...
What do you mean? He's not allowed to slow, he's not allowed to stop at Goal Yisrael.
I mean, a little foresight maybe, you know? Then to position himself where his Goal Yisrael Hashem, and all of a sudden the Chazan started Kedusha.
Before Yisrael then? Meaning if he sees Kedusha...
Yeah. Maybe Tehillah, I think we had that before. He should stop by Tehillah Sekal Elyon, right? Yeah, before Goal Yisrael, right. Yeah. Okay. You should be careful. What about the Psukim, Baruch Hashem La'ilam and Yirayneinu? That we're going to learn later on, Sin Reish Tamid Vav. That's also not a hefsek since they were masakin to say it. Or V'sham of Neisol Sashabas. The Torah says not a hefsek. We say it in order to explain that if we keep the Shabbos, we don't need a Shmira, and it's also part of Geula. And all the psukim that we say on Yom Tif, Tiku, Ki B'Yom Hazeh. Now, what about calling out B'Sein Talumata Levracha and Yala V'Yavai? You want to call out. So the Mishnah Berura says in Siman Kuf Yedzayin Siv Katan Gimel and Siman Reish Tam Vav Siv Beis Sivkat and Zayin, that it's permitted to be machriz before Shemana Esrei Mariv, and it's not a hefsek, because since Mariv is a reshus, they were not mekabel on it this much that we don't call things out. You hear this? So even though in most shuls they won't do it, because first of all the Gabe is afraid that that they'll put him in cherem or something, but it's not correct not to do it. You should do it.
In our shul we do it.
And in Rabbi Yeager's shul they also do it.
I do it.
You 1 second. You're the Gabe?
Yeah.
You're the Gabe. Very nice. Okay. Now, what if by Mariv you accidentally started Ki Shem? Do you finish Hashem Ekra Havugad Elakenu or by Shachris? Rav Chaim Kiev says by Mariv, yeah, finish it up. By Shachris, stop in your tracks. So the din of Somek Geula Tefilla by Mariv is a little bit more lenient than by Shachris. Why? Because Mariv is a Rishus. Tosa says we were Makabalit, but still, it's a Rishus Legabe these pratim. Fine. Weiter.
Why do some skip by Shabbos B'Shamru before Shemana Esrei?
Do they?
I davened in a shul that was a Talmud of Shlomo Zalman, and they don't say B'Shamru before Shemana Esrei on Shabbos. It's wrong. But it's a nice wrong.
Nobody says it?
No. So why? We get drunk. I know it's Minagra. Why? What do you think?
I guess there's some Indian of Hefsek.
Yeah. But if it's Mariv and it's more cool, then there should be more of a reason to say it.
Yeah, I hear. I hear, but look, you can't say Pitamak Torahs then, as much as people would like to whip out their things and start saying, different incantations. You can't just say whatever you want, Okay. Weiter. Okay. The Rama continues. Some say you could answer Amen to Gal Yisrael. That's the minhag. So minhag brought as the Rama is to answer Amen to Gal Yisrael. Some say this is very important. The whole inyan of Summer Geula Tefillah, which will strengthen your question, Dr. Pinchas, is the only inyan of being Summer Geula Tefillah. Where do we learn out Summer Geula Tefillah? We learn it out from Yu l'ratzayin imrei fi v'hagyoin libi l'fanecha Hashem tzuri v'goy ali. That's the end of Yud Tes, and Parak Chaf begins Yancha Hashem b'yom tzara. So only on a Yom Tzara there's an inyan of being Samech Geula Tefillah, but on Shabbos and Yom Tif there's no inyan of being Samech Geula Tefillah. B'chlal, even by Shachris. Okay? Only during the week or Yom Tif. We're going to see Yom Tif is also a Yom Tzara because it's a Yom Hadin. Every Yom Tif is a Yom Hadin. Aval b'Shabbos ein Tzarach. Perush, says the Rama explains. The time of the being on Lismach Geula Tefillah, the reason you need to juxtapose is the Chsev Yan Chashem b'Yom Tzara Usmechle Yu l'ratzayin imrei fi v'goymer v'goy ali v'Shabbos lav zman tzara. Now, what's the reason that Yom Tif is? Well, Anias Daiti Nira D'Mashe Ein Kem b'Yom Tif Hu Mishum Shem Yimei Adin Kedetnan b'Mishna Beis Parakama the Rosh Hashanah Ba Pesach Al Tfua. Each Yom Tif is a Yom Hadin. V'Toiv Lahachmir. It is correct to be machmir, to be Samech Geula Tefillah even on Shabbos. Im Loi b'Makom Shetzarach Lekach, unless you need to. What does that mean? You need to. You need to means to answer Amen Yehei Rabbah. On a regular weekday, you cannot answer Amen Yehei Rabbah. On a Yom Tif, you cannot answer Amen Yehei Rabbah. On Shabbos, you can answer Amen Yehei Rabbah. If I'm not mistaken, Rabbi Kiva Eger has a Chidush Nifla. You ready for this? That if, just by Mariv, if you come late to Mariv, what do? You start Shemana Esrei with them. And then you go back and daven the Berchas Krishma later. Don't you have to be Samech Geula L'Tefillah? Yeah, Marav is not so chamor, right? It's only Rishus. So being Samech Gula Tefillah is not so important by Marav. So that's why when you come late to Marav, then you just start Shemana Esrei and then you down Berachos Krishma. Could you do that Shachris? You can't do that Shachris. Could you do it on Shabbos? Rabbi Akiva Eiger says yes. By the way, you know the rule is any day you learn Rabbi Akiva Eiger is a good day. Just pointing that out. So Rabbi Akiva Eiger says on Shabbos, yes, you could start Shemana Esrei with the tzibor and then daven after because you don't have to be so Gula Tefillah. But we don't paskin that way. We don't paskin like this, Rabbi Akiva Eiger. I believe, right? We do not follow this, Rabbi Akiva Eiger. But look at the Mishnah Berura. Amen. The Rama says there are those who say you answer Amen. Avala Amen Yehishmei Rabba ukedusha einay mafsik. For Amen Yehishmei Rabba and kedusha you don't interrupt. Only for the Amen of Goal Yisrael. The Amen Shaykh La Bracha. Amen of Goal Yisrael. It's not that it's more chamor than Amen Yehishmei Rabba, but it's Shaykh to the Bracha. V'lo have a hefsik. Masha ein came be'elo. V'chein noyagin. That's the minhag to answer Amen. Hainu achar hachazan. After the chazan v'lo yachar atzmai. V'ayin le'el v'sim samach vav b'haga of a Mishnah Berura sham. That in order to be yotzei all the dayos, you should just try to finish together with the tzibor, and then you're not mechuyev to answer amen. Or you should just say Hashem svasai tiftach a little bit before the sheikh tzibor. Lamaisa, Reb Shlomo Zalman and Reb Elyashiv and Rav Henkin all say that the Chazan must say Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael out loud, and it is not an acceptable custom to say the end of the bracha quietly. Yeah. Moreover, Reb Elyashiv says if he doesn't say it out loud, it might not be like you're davening with a minyan. I know, yeah, I was expecting those looks. Okay, fine. So, and Rav Henkin said it was so important that he asked that it be announced at his levaya, that you have to say the words Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael out loud. Okay, V'Shabbos, V'Yom Tov, Kivin D'Yom Zeh V'Bashar Yomim Yom Tzara. You ready for this? The reason why fundamentally Yom Tif is a Yom Tzara is even before the Ramah Svara that it's a Yom Adin. The fundamental reason is because it's a Tuesday. Yom Tif is Tuesday. It happens to be this Tuesday is not a Yom Tzara, but fundamentally it's a Yom Tzara. Shach ve'gam ken apasuk diyan Hashem achar apasuk Yuratz in the Ma'ariv Geula. But Shabbos is then the Ramah says that Shabbos is not as Matzar. Beis Yosef cholek al zeh. The Beis Yosef disagrees with the Ramah's interpretation of why we have to be Samech Gula Tefillah. That's not the reason. The reason is because of what Rashi brings in Masechta Brachos. The reason you have to be Samech Gula Tefillah is because when you knock on the door of a king, you better ask what you need right away. You don't knock on the door of the king and the king says, "Yeah, what can I help you with?" Well, how are you? Everything's good, king? Yeah, what's new? How are the kids? No, when you knock on the door and the king answers, get down to ask what you want right away. Don't dray him a cup. So when you say Goal Yisrael, you're banging on the king's door. He's opening up. You better get down to business right away. Okay? That's the reason, the main reason for Goal Yisrael, and that applies for Shabbos also. The juxtaposition of Yan Hashem to Yom Tzara is just a asmachta. Ve'ikar smichas gola tefillah midivrei chachamim. It's from the sages. Shadimu yurches brachas achar brachas gula la'ayavei shamelach. They compare the 18 brachas of Shemana Esrei to someone who loves the king. Shabava dafak al pesach hamelach. He knocked on the king's door. V'yatza hamelach l'krasa. The king came out to greet him. V'im rayeyu hamelach shehiflik v'halach lai. If the king, when he answers the door, sees the guy's on his phone taking another call, he's going to slam the door on his face. Afu maflig, the king's going to go away. V'shavena miskarve elav, and he's not going to come close to him. Kishachoyzer v'doifik. Kachu b'mafsik ben gula l'tfila. The alkein kasav Ramah. Therefore, the Ramah says v'toiv lahachmir, to be samech gula tfila, unless you need to. What does that mean? You need to. Hainu demutar lanis amen yesh me'rabba kedusha baruchu. On Shabbos, you're allowed to answer amen yesh me'rabba. You're allowed to answer kedusha. You're allowed to answer baruchu. Bein Geula letfila de Shabbos af b'shachris. Ken kosu el yarabba prima gadam shamat tzibur va'ayin beber halacha. By the way, the Shari Tshuva is not makel like this svara of that Shabbos is more lenient. Rabbi Kiva Eger is mesupik. If you came late to shul and they're davening Shemona Esrei, could you start davening with them? And Rabbi Kiva Eger has it said you could, because being Sama Geula Tefillah is not so chomer on Shabbos.